Hi everybody, and yes, here I am, back, alive apparently still, and back on YouTube. Now, you may have wondered why I have been silent on YouTube, and it's because of the nature of the YouTubes, because they're not conducive, and it isn't conducive to free-ranging conversation, unfortunately. And that's why I'm really here to tell you that you will see more of me from around about the 24th of this month. There will be a degree of resumption here on YouTube, but I do want to urge you that if you want to do something, if you do enjoy my content, which I presume is the only reason you'd be here, you can get loads of it on my podcast channel. So the links are below in the description, just down there, and you just need to go and click, and each day you will find 4 or 5 different short little podcasts covering a diversity of topics, mostly the topics that cannot be discussed on this platform. So I would encourage you to do that. You can also, if you want to actually support me, you can subscribe to my Patreon, which is, you can find the link to that on my podcast channel. But either which way, there's lots of discussions going on. They're just not going on here. So whether it's on Rumble, whether it's in Gab TV, whether it's in Odyssey, whether it's in BitChute, lots of different platforms, new tech platforms, not the cancer that is Silicon Valley, soy boys in Silicon Valley seeking to set a global agenda, which I simply won't accept. And therefore, there is, hi Andrew, nice to see you. There's little scope for me to talk about much on this platform beyond, puppy dog tails and fluffy clouds. I think that's a conversation that YouTube's looking to have. We certainly cannot tackle the topic of our times on the YouTubes, because if we do that, we're going to get strikes, which makes the whole thing pointless, actually. So anyway, so in the meantime, just before, ahead of my planned return here, just to let you know that obviously, all the issues du jour are covered on the platforms I've mentioned, particularly in the podcast channel. I could also actually turn the podcast into a video channel as well, so I might do that. So in other words, you can actually get to have a hopefully informed discussion on the diversity of topics which are not allowed on this platform here. So yeah, I think, there's, hi Dave Barker, good to see you. So as I say, there's lots of you folks follow me here, I know on YouTube, but you really need to make the journey over to the podcast. It's only a click. It's all you have to do. And you get to hear the stuff that I'm not allowed to cover here, because YouTube's all about free speech as long as it's the right speech. Hello, a day without yesterday. I've had several days, in fact, several weeks without YouTube and managed to survive, by the way. So I know the appeal of, the Silicon Valley tech. I know how easy Twitter is. Well, actually, there's the thing. I will be coming up on, I think it's the 13th of this month, to my 1-year Twitter death. And I intend to mark that solemn occasion by putting out a podcast on my good pal, Marcus Rashford. So do make sure you tune in to that one on the podcast channel on the 13th. Dave Barker, you're right. I loathe and detest Twitter. I'll tell you what I do find. I am building up a decent enough audience over on GETTR. And my audience continues to build over on Parler and in Gab. So when I add all those together, there's around about 100,000 odd followers between those different platforms. So I'm pretty comfortable about that. And to be honest with you, I find Twitter to be a deplorable, toxic sewer. So being off it for a year has immeasurably improved my life. I hope it improved your life as well. But I'm going to do a special anyway to mark hi, thanks for following me over in Gab. One of the things, hi Jed as well, good to see you on the platform. One of the things that's really hard to do is when you're on multiple platforms to try and give each one the amount of time. So I do my best to put out as much as I'm able, be it on GETTR, be it on Gab, be it on Parler, be it on the video platforms I've mentioned, be it on brand new Tube. I mean, I've built up a significant amount of views over there. To put it in context, I think I'm right in saying I'm gonna approaching 700,000 views over on brand new Tube. So basically, and with all due respect, stuff YouTube. Yeah, I think the getting away from big tech, Silicon Valley big tech, is just healthy to do, So that's what I've been sort of busying myself with. And when you get strikes from YouTube and warnings from Facebook and removed from Twitter, you realize that they don't want you. And I know they don't want me. However, I don't want them. That's the other side of it. So really, the only purpose for me to be here at all is to simply encourage each and every one of you who will watch this to do me a favor and go and subscribe to the podcast channel. How would it be possible for other followers to link one another so we know when you're on? Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I mean, the thing is, YouTube's supposed to send out notifications. I doubt that they do. But when it comes to the other platform, the podcasts, if you subscribe to my podcast, then every time I send something out, you will know there's a brand new podcast waiting for you with all the unspoken topics on them. Yeah. You see, YouTube didn't shut me up. All they've done is they've facilitated me to get, Dave says he didn't get a notification. Of course you didn't. Look, YouTube has completely changed its business model. I understand where YouTube business model is. It doesn't want independent creators. Danny says use Telegram more. Danny, I wish I could. I wish I had the time to do that. And I'm negligent about Telegram. Telegram seems a pretty good platform. I guess it's just there's so many. I'm sure you'll understand, Danny. There's only so many hours in the day. And I'm putting out 4 to 5 fresh podcasts every day. That's a lot of effort, believe it or not. Mightn't seem it, but it is. It's a lot of work. On top of then all the social media posts. I mean, on a good day, I can put out 20, 30 of them as well. So there's still a massive output coming your way. In fact, actually, it's more than it was during the Twitter years. So, thank you, Jack Dorsey. All you've done is I've splintered off into other platforms that enable one to say what one wants within the bounds of civility and reason, which is all I've ever asked. But I mean, that's a redundant argument now, folks. Trying to expect these platforms like this one where I'm talking to you on to be reasonable and fair ain't gonna happen. You can notify followers of your live chaps. Alistair William. Yeah, Danny, so can you do, maybe someone could tell me this, can you do a live chat on Telegram? Because I'd like to know it, because I've seen that coming up and I don't, Ian says, I don't consider you all that controversial. I'm really not, Ian, I agree. I think I'm quite meek and mild in many ways. I don't think in any regard I'm an extremist, but hey, when we're dealing with Silicon Valley, if you don't follow to the letter their narrative, you're an extremist, you're a bigot. And so, so are you folks saying then that I think I can do voice chats on Telegram. Maybe I should try that as well. The thing about it is, despite my advancing years, I love trying new stuff. So, but the best place to go to get me every day and to get me talking about the things that we can't talk about here is on my podcast channel. And you can pick that up pretty much wherever podcasts are found, be it on Apple, be it in Google, be it in Spotify, be it on anywhere, Podbean most particularly. If you sign up to that, you will get content from me every day, as I say. And so really, when it comes to YouTube, it's nice to be able to talk to you like this. But I know that people like me aren't wanted on YouTube. And you guys need to unhook yourselves from YouTube as well, because ultimately it's like big media. I always say to people that, if you consume the BBC and Sky and CNN and all these platforms, they will rot your brain. They're propagandist channels. They're not news channels. They do not present a plurality of views. They don't actually want diversity. They want uniformity. They just put it in a different way. So Ricky says, can we all start calling the Tories the Marxist Party? Oh yeah, absolutely, Ricky. The Communist Party. Don't start me. Well, again, if you go over to my podcast, you'll hear what I think about Boris Johnson and his gang. I'm probably allowed to say that actually here. It's the other big topic we can't touch here on the YouTubes. But anyway, folks, there we have it. So I wanted to spend a few moments with you. And yes, Dave Barker, go along. You'll find me in Podbean. And just type in David Vance, up comes the podcast. And every day you're going to hear all the stuff that YouTube don't want me to talk about, but you're going to hear it over there. So look, thanks very much, folks, for your support. Thanks for bearing with the platform during these enforced breaks that YouTube impose upon me. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I was ever extreme in anything I've ever said. I've been forthright. I've been direct. I've tried to be honest as I can. And yeah, if big tech don't want that, I know exactly what they want. And I can tell you what they want if you go over to the podcast. So maybe you'll do that. Maybe you'll also consider becoming a patron of my podcast. So for, £2 a month, imagine that, £2 a month, you get to get all the podcasts early. Thanks, Ian. Thank you. I know I'm not extreme. They are the extremists. The left are everything they accuse us of. Everything they accuse us of. But thanks, guys, for signing up to the Podbean. Catch me over there, and hope to catch you soon. Say hello if you see me over there. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.